Derivatives trading involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results.
So stressful when the world's on fire. Good God. I can't look at this, guys. Like, my strategy is you buy it and you hope that you gotta get spot. Yeah, but we all think you're crazy. You don't fight this. No way. The markets are freaking out and you don't think that anything is wrong? Come back tomorrow and I'll lose it all. Should be fun.
Good morning, everybody. It is the 10th, and today we get inflation numbers. That's a big thing that we're looking at today. I tell you what, if this inflation number that we've got here in 2 minutes is above expectations, we might see a really wild reaction to the markets here. So I'm going to have to wait before I go through all of my charts. There's not anything terribly interesting anyways. I mean, E-mini moved up overnight. We're up in the 39.20 range. We're still appear to have this gravity at 3,900 though that could pull us down. So let's see what else. Metals complex looks to be moving up a little bit now, but not too much. They kind of took a little bit of a hit yesterday, so then that's this place where, like, here again, if that CPI number, so we're expecting an inflation rate, overall inflation rate, month over month of spot 3, and a core inflation rate in January 1 spot 5. So here again, we've had it, core inflation rate of spot 2 and month over month, the normal rate at spot 3. So we had that last time, it was spot 4. So if it comes out and that's spot 4 or spot 5, which is not a crazy outperformance, like we've had beats bigger than that. Right. And I don't think that this market will be too happy about it. Let's see what happens here. We got 10 seconds. And then we got to talk about the GameStop thing too. Oh, the GameStop. All I can say now is I would stay away. I would stay away. Waiting. Okay, it's in line. It's in line. Core rate actually under expectation. 0 versus spot 2. Okay. So that's good. That's really good. That means that they can just continue buying all the things, apparently. What do you think? All right. Let's pull up the Texas speech here first. Looks like the Treasury is moving up on that news. I think that the S&P 500 will follow. Let's just get this all going over here. I want to move this over here.
Block buy.
No, they bought that. Okay. I bet you there was a lot of short covering on that one because I heard a lot of rumblings about, wow, they're trading 8K up in there too. There was a lot of rumblings about that the CPI could be high, and it didn't happen. So interesting. That's going to make today really uncertain for me. Okay, so here in the E-mini, you can see yesterday pretty quiet, much more constrained than it's been. Overnight, slight move up. Here we got the treasuries. Treasuries moved down overnight because there was some concerns about the inflation number, but here we are moving back up. So we're moving back up to where they started. Man, this treasuries could probably continue running. I should probably just go and hit it with an order, but that thing moved. That thing moved, didn't it? Okay. Oil. So oil, not much of a change in oil. There was some decline yesterday, but you know, it just bounced right back. There's all sorts of stuff going on. News with the, you know, like I know that there's news moving oil, but I don't really follow it very well or understand it all. So here we go. Gold up overnight. Are they actually moving up on this? Because copper is just, I tell you what, man. If you should have bought something, it should have been copper. Whew, that thing is just goes. Okay, it looks like that off this inflation being low, that the dollar is taking a hit, and that is causing the metals complex to rise. And it's the S&P 500 here. That one was kind of funny. The way that we did it, I didn't feel like ready to trade that, you know, because I was a little bit late today. But the S&P 500 gave you plenty of time there, didn't they? And of course, I had no clue that they were going to move as much as they did per se, but I think you very easily could have made the judgment call there that, you know, that was a buy in the S&P 500 and that it was going to rip. And yeah, it was good for a few points. So, hey, there's a good example of a news trade. But people always say, oh, it goes too fast. Well, sometimes. But sometimes it's just perfect. Okay, now GameStop. We got to talk about GameStop, man. What an effing mess over there. So last night, the short interest numbers come out. They were late, big time late. Apparently, everybody was like crashing the website that you know, the data is supposed to come out on. And eventually it comes out, and you go to the Morningstar page. So here I got it right here. Morningstar's analysis. Blah, 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 blah. Somebody was telling me that there was there's a short interest tab. Like I got linked there like, oh, over here, short interest. It's not, I don't see it. Maybe you have to have the plan, or maybe I should sign up, get 14 days free. Let's do that. I'm gonna do that. Maybe I can see it then. Yeah, yes, I'll take all of the emails. Send me all your spam. I'll take it. I'm kinky like that. Oh, it's like you take free. Oh, no, wait. Not right now. I'm sure. Okay. So now that I'm logged in, if I come back over here to the thing, do I get different stuff? No, I don't. Somebody was like, "There's the short interest tab." What short interest tab? I don't got no. Am I missing? Am I seeing something? Am I missing something there? What's up with NASDAQ futures? They're really volatile and they'll probably bankrupt you. Don't touch them. I don't get that. Tab. Interesting. Let's come back to Reddit here. This guy says there's a short interest tab. I don't know. You may be a subscriber? I don't know. Okay, well, So here was this thread. I think it was this one right here. Will the real short interest please stand up? My fellow retards, I searched the internet far and wide and I still don't have an answer to this. There are many theories, but nothing rock solid. Maybe I added AMC, FINRA reports AMC, W. Okay, so then here's another person explaining how it got the number. So here's the thing, is that let's see what Financial Viz says. Short float, short ratio. That doesn't show the number. That doesn't show the number either. Now, what is it? What is that website? It's like short something.net. See, they say click this short interest. Where? I don't get that. Oh, wait, right there. Okay. I found it. Wait, I need to go back. I found it. I was like, this right here. This poor boy right here. Delete comment. You got it. Good. I see it. Thank you. Okay. So, back to this. So, what happened? The number comes out, and the page that everybody was looking at on Morningstar.com, all it said was 78, which I'm like, okay. What does that mean? And man, on Twitter, holy crap, everybody's like, oh, it's not over, we should buy it, yada yada yada. And meanwhile, I'm sitting here, so I stayed up a long time after the market closed waiting for that data to see what it was going to be and everything, hoping to maybe make a video last night, but we'll make a video today. Anyways, it didn't move. I'm like, okay, what's going on here? Then look, overnight it actually dropped and now it's come back up. So it looks to me like the S3 numbers were correct. They got 21.41 million shares short. Now, the thing is that the percentage of the float, that they're not using the 60 or 70 million shares estimate that everybody else was. So that's where all of the confusion comes from. But it's 21.41. So here's a recommendation to you. Don't use percentages. Like if there's a number, like the number of shares short, look at the number of shares short. Don't look at the percentage, because what will happen is like people will mess with you with your frame of reference when really you're looking for like an exact metric. And when somebody shows you the metric in a different way, and that's one of the ways that you get messed around with, you've got to, man. Anyways, so 21.41 million shares short. That means that the S3 data was correct as we predicted. The retail traders somehow made so much noise on this and have confused everybody that I think that there are going to be a bunch of people coming in here on the open trying to buy it, but they're going to get crushed. This thing is going to go back back to $10, $20, I believe. Now, it's, in my opinion, it is over. In my opinion, it is over. Now, and this 78% thing, that's just like a percentage of the float. But now, I think that the interest now, the retail horde's interest, is going to switch over back to Bitcoin. Isn't that interesting? Should we be trying to ride the Bitcoin wave? I tell you what, this one right here, where is it? Oh, I don't have it up here. Well, we'll put it up here where Gmae is right now. MSTR. Holy crap, dude. Like when we were looking at this, remember we were looking at like 250 puts and they were like at 500. That thing keeps going. And this is not justified by their cryptocurrency holdings. No, I'm sorry. This is not going to last. I think this is extremely unlikely to last. Is it going to come back down today? Well, they're down a little bit in the pre-market. This is the thing with one like MSTR, there probably was a lot of short covering on this thing. No doubt about it. But you just need like one down day for the momentum on this thing to completely flip, right? Meanwhile, you get the Bitcoin. Well, everybody's saying that other companies are going to start adding Bitcoin to their balance sheet. Well, if a lot of companies start adding Bitcoin to their balance sheet, that certainly could cause it to continue moving, huh? But I get real concerned. I really do. You're going to add an asset to your balance sheet that could potentially drop 80%. Okay. Your balance sheet, I guess. Anyways, so that's where we're at. Sorry that took me so long to figure out the whole thing. We'll do it. I'll be able to. I'll make a video. I'll try and make a video tonight, and maybe we'll put it out tomorrow about the whole GameStop thing. Because there's so much. There's so much that I've seen and people have said about it that I think is just straight up wrong. Good morning, Ace. Man, you missed all the fun. You should have come in here, traded the news. I didn't trade it either. So I'm not quite sure what my plan should be now because, well, will the E-mini keep moving up? I think that's possible. Will the treasuries keep moving up? Well, the next high point here is 136.29.5. There could be more in the 10-year. Two and 10-year spread is getting slaughtered here, by the way. People keep saying that the numbers should be higher because they are lying, and I have no clue how to evaluate that claim. There's how you should evaluate it. They have absolutely no empirical evidence of that. That is just people saying shit because that's how they feel and what they want to believe. But there's absolutely nothing to indicate that that's actually the case. Most likely anything penny stock that has a hashtag for crypto, right? You know, hey, you remember what was that one? It was like XBTC or something. BTCX? What was it? It had like Bitcoin in it. Did the E-mini just hit an all-time high on that news? I think so. No, I don't think it was GBTC. Grayscale Bitcoin Trust. They're actually not that. That's only $46, huh? And they're down overnight too. That's kind of interesting. No, I swear it was like an X. It was like XBTC. It does feel like ear candy antidote evidence, the idea of shady bankers and lawyers, and all that is one of the oldest tropes in existence, so it's easy to somehow believe it. No, it was definitely like close to BTC in the ticker. I don't know why I thought it was XBTC. Oh, maybe it was XBT. Yes, that's what it was. It was XBT. No. I don't know. Don't remember. Remember there was that one we were looking at, a couple of weeks back, and where like people were trying to pump and dump it on TikTok. Yeah, I don't know. I give up. We're not gonna find it. I was wondering what that was, because it was like pumping off of that TikTok thing, and then I was like, oh, it's gonna fall back down, and then we never looked at it again. Okay, so Brandon ended up taking that long and catching a good winner on that, by the way. And Jay also tried taking one, apparently. Made some changes to Jay, so it'd be interesting to see what he does. I went back through and I tried adding some directional movement stuff to them. I don't think that the zigzag indicator in NinjaTrader gives me what I really need. I think I'm going to need to extend it myself, or maybe I'll take pivots and I'll just modify pivots. Yeah, I don't know. And then if I just modify pivots and they're similar, then I could directly compare them and see which one is better, and that would be fun too. What was I thinking? Oh yeah, I was trying to decide what we do with this. Do you think that we could just have a gamma break, or do you think that they're just gonna pull them back to 3,900? Let's look at my tickers here. Apple and Google are up a little bit overnight. I don't know. Everything just kind of looks like gently up. I don't know. It's kind. Oh, you know what? Thinking back through my morning now. Yeah, I'll be right back. Okay. So let's come in here and check. Okay, zero hedge. Why is CPI so low? Rent inflation drops to 1.84% year over year. Shelter inflation drops 2%. Both of the lowest since August of 2011. New York rental collapse is why the Fed will keep inflating the biggest asset bubble for years, claims zero hedge. Treasuries erase declines after weak January core CPI. But you know what? We should come and we should look at this report. That's what we should be doing right now. Because I'm really not too sure that I've got a good. I will update the title. Yes, it is the 10th. You're gonna go short in here? I think it's still too quiet to take a trade. Low demand, of course, as soon as lockdowns stop, inflation is going to accelerate. Perhaps. Latest release. Okay, so here we go. I'll bring it over here. We'll read it. Make the text nice and big for you guys. Increased spot 3% on January on a seasonally adjusted basis. Over the past 12 months, all items index increased 1.4% before seasonal adjustment. And this is because gasoline index continued to rise, rising 7.4% in January, accounting for most of the seasonally adjusted increase in all the items index. Although the indexes for electricity and natural gas declined, the energy index rose 3.5% over the month. The food index rose slightly in January, increasing spot 1% as an advance in the index for food away from home more than offset a decline in the index for food at home. Spot 1%. More than offset the decline in the index for food at home. Okay. So here we go. So food at home was down spot 3 and food away from home was increased spot 3. Negative spot 1 and spot 3. Energy 3.5. All items less food and energy. It's basically unchanged. New vehicles. I guess then you kind of have to get into this whole thing about people say that CPI data doesn't track enough stuff, you know. There's no effect in low rates if there's no consumption by households. That happened in Brazil in 2015. We had a crisis. There's central bank cuts rate by 1/3 and inflation kept flat. Well, yeah, I mean, I would say that, well, I have been saying for a long time that probably the risk of deflation is probably still a bigger problem than inflation. But that was before we started giving everybody checks, you know? Does anyone else have a problem with Robinhood being pretty much constantly laggy? No, because I don't think that anybody else here is using Robinhood. I have never had any problems with Fidelity, though. Wouldn't recommend using Robinhood anymore. Anyways. No one who trades seriously, he's right. I mean, he's right. Right. I only use Robinhood when I want to see if they are trapped on Twitter feeds. Well, I don't think that you have to pay anything extra for Fidelity. But I digress. It doesn't matter. It's okay to just watch the markets and not have a trading application up, right? And just open up like your trading view window or whatever. Maybe checks are just being used to buy the basics and then there's the calculus problem. Well, I don't think so, actually. So here's what I think is happening. I think that people that are really still suffering from the pandemic, and there certainly are some. I mean, my wife, like I said, we made like $40,000 less in 2020 because my wife wasn't able to work. And she's going back next week. So, and at her company was not impacted as much as the other airlines, right? So they're definitely out there. So there's the group of people that are on the low end of the spectrum that are in like food, or they're in those Democrat areas that just kept everything locked down forever. They're really hurting. They are using it to pay for things. And then there are the people that are doing just fine, all of the technology people and stuff like that. Now, are they buying a lot of like consumer goods and televisions? Well, there's certainly a lot of anecdotal evidence. Like you go to Walmart and they have all of these TVs and they're priced exactly to go for what you would get your stimulus check for. So are people like buying, wasting it on things? Yes. But I think even more so, one place where I can say that we definitely have a significant amount of empirical evidence to suggest that that money is going into trading. And we find that after the stimulus checks go out, that brokers like Robinhood in particular have a mass number of deposits from people in multiples of the stimulus check. So what is happening is the people that can spend it or that don't really need it are turning around and putting it into the stock market, which is exactly the right play. But then we're getting this thing where it's like the valuations, the amount of money that these stocks are supposedly going to make are ridiculous. Like I saw somebody on Reddit kind of putting it in perspective for Apple. Right, that Apple is trading like at 36 times earnings, which means that in order for it's like if you were to buy Apple as a business, you would spend, X amount of money on it, and you wouldn't make that money back from buying them for 36 years, is what that says, right? And why does that happen? Because there's the demand and the money has to go somewhere. Because no valuation metric that we have right now really justifies any of these prices, right? I still waiting to buy an OLED TV for cheap. You would think that, there would have been chances to buy things like that for cheap, but like it never came. In my neighborhood, there were so many TV boxes at the curb on garbage day. It was easy to tell everyone got their stimulus checks, really. Okay. Pretty much everyone I know working from home in tech is playing the markets. Yeah. CPI here in Brazil is lower than expected, but like everyone is complaining about rising prices in food. Well, that is interesting, but I notice that from time to time too, that like people will say, "Oh, the price of everything is rising and it's getting ridiculous," but I personally don't see that, and the CPI number doesn't say that. And then they say, "Well, it's because the CPI doesn't factor it in." But then I'm like, "Okay, but CPI tells you what's happening with food, right? Like CPI factors in the things that are important, right? Food, shelter, energy, all of the utility bills and the bills that you pay every month. That's what CPI tracks. It says that it's not going up. So TVs are the currency of the middle class and working poor, I guess. I have to admit, every once, every time that Linus Tech Tips does a video about televisions, I'm like, ooh, I should spend an exorbitant amount of money on a television. But then I'm like, but you know what? I don't really like television. So now tomorrow we get PPI, right? Oh, maybe not. Well, okay, so a couple of things that I think we should keep in mind here now that I'm thinking about it. We do get a slate of Fed speakers today. Chairman Powell is speaking at 2 Eastern Time. Tomorrow we got unemployment claims, mortgage delinquencies, a 30-year bond auction. Today we have a 10-year bond auction, which is probably why they're just going wild. Oh, look, I said that probably they can get to 29.5. They're almost there. Consumer sentiment tomorrow. And then is the next week after that? Yeah, retail sales, business inventories. I don't know. It doesn't look, it kind of looks to me like the market is going to continue to be a little quiet. I never thought I'd reach a point in life where I'd have almost no need for TV. And I hit that point like 4 years ago, right? Like Lehman always complains on certain times of the year, oh, meat is going up, but it's cyclical 90% of the time. Yeah, that probably is true. Well, there's definitely cyclicalness to it. And like I said, it doesn't seem to me like it's going up. And I track that a lot because I'm always looking for a good deal on a brisket. Yes. But yeah, I mean, part of it is because everybody has phones and people watch a lot of YouTube and now TikTok. Man, I don't know why I'm feeling kind of weird and like directionless. I don't know. I was like, I don't think I took my medication, so I went back and took one. I hope that was correct, because if it don't, I'm going to start feeling really tense here. And that's always unpleasant to me. Well, I don't think that it would be that tense, but I don't know. I feel like all of a sudden everything just feels so blah. It's like nothing's happening. There's nothing to look forward to. There's not some news story that's interesting. Like the GameStop thing, of course there's like the post GameStop euphoria, sure. But like you take out GameStop from this thing and you've had the most boring point of news in the past like 10 years. It's literally like I honestly believe that it's like certain people that, are very much in charge of the news and stuff like that got what they wanted and are now just turning it off. They want everybody to tune out, Oh, I use the Adderall. I take Strattera and Adderall. I'm okay with talking about it. I'm a little bit like, because I don't talk about it at work, for instance, But I can talk about it on stream. I think it matters because a lot of people in the trading industry end up having ADHD. So I take this stuff called Strattera, which is like it's an antidepressant class medication. It's a norepinephrine reuptake inhibitor. But I've also, and that works really, really well for me, by the way. But I've also found that the part, like there's like the norepinephrine part, which is more significant for me, but there's still the dopamine part, like the motivation and to get to do things and stuff like that. And if I don't do that, then I tend not to get a lot done. I don't have to be on it all day, but I just take 5 milligrams and the combination of those. So because I take the Strattera, I don't have to take as much Adderall, right? So I take 5 milligrams. Before that, I was taking like 10 milligrams a day of Adderall, and it was okay. But when I come off of it, that was really hard for me, and so that's why I didn't do that. Why I switched it. Why we switched it, I guess. I have a doctor that specializes in this. So I think one of the things with ADHD is you just go to your family practitioner doctor and he gives it to you. And no, the guy that I do, he only does ADHD. So anyways, so I normally only take 5. I was sitting there and I'm like, I don't remember taking it, and I seem to be having a hard time focusing and talking and all of this stuff. So maybe I didn't take it. So I went back and took it. So I either took 5 or I took 10 now at this point. So if it's 10, if it's 10, then here at the bottom of the hour, whenever it like really gets going, I will start to be a little tense and I might twitch a little bit. But how about a little coffee? Coffee doesn't do anything. Coffee will fill in the receptors, but they won't fill in the receptors in a way that makes the nerve cell fire. So it doesn't actually help with the symptoms. It just makes you feel less tired. Coffee's useless. How does Strattera compare to Adderall? Well, so Strattera is, because it's an antidepressant class of a drug. Antidepressants are really weird. So the first thing is that it takes a little while for it to build up in your system and it to actually work. The second thing is that when you start taking it, you feel like absolute crap. Like, you will feel nauseous and sick for the first 1 or 2 weeks that you take it. And it really sucks. That was like the worst week of my life. No joke. Have you heard of beta? I haven't really looked into that. No. You feel like people are overusing? Well, yeah. Like the thing that is kind of interesting about it is that there's like it's particularly the Adderall and Ritalin or whatever the deal is, like they really make a big difference. Okay. Because I was medicated as a child. I did way better when I was medicated. You know, it was just, yeah, you'd be in a completely different place. And there are so many people out there that never got medicated, or they never got medicated until they were adults. Their lives would have been completely different if they had been on the drugs. And then you got all of these hippies on freaking YouTube and all, you know, TikTok. TikTok was tried to start recommending those videos to me, and I'm like, no, screw this. What they're saying is objectively false. And this is where, like, on that particular thing, I you know, everybody talks about vaccines and how ridiculous it is to fight against vaccines. I think that if there's anything in the medical world where the general public seems to be misinformed, grossly misinformed, it's ADHD. There has probably been more medical research on ADHD and those drugs and their effects on people than almost anything else. And then there's all these people that say that it's not actually a thing. They're full of shit. It's absolutely a thing. Like they've identified like genetic markers for it and stuff. And they know exactly you know, how the neurons in the brain work. And there's certainly a lot of things that they don't understand, because they don't understand how, you know, changes in an individual cell ends up impacting the overall structure of your brain or the delivery mechanism of things. Okay. But they understand the chemicals for it and how the genetics will cause the cells to have too many of the valves and stuff like that. So it gets me going when people are like, oh yeah, ADHD isn't real. Oh, it is. It very much is. And people should stop saying that, because it discourages people from getting help. And if those people got help, it would completely change their life and they would be 10 times more successful and happier, frankly. I mean, like, being on Strattera and Adderall certainly makes me less emotional. It suppresses your limbic system. I just don't care about that kind of touchy-feely stuff. But I'm happier without it. Would have liked it if my parents told me at 15. Yeah. Well, I was taking it in elementary school, so. And then I stopped in high school and I went through college without it, but I would have done better if I had. I guess it doesn't really matter because I got a top job anyways. There are always side effects when you play God. Well, there are side effects to it, but it's the side effects that I get from the combination that I take are way better than the actual symptoms of the whatever you want to call it. So if there's markers you could get tested for it, then yes, in the future, when genetic tests become more common and available, I think that it will be very likely that you will get a genetic test that will say, oh, you have ADHD, and based off of which, because it's not just one genetic marker, there's a couple of different things that cause it, right? So it can be kind of complicated, but they will be able to look at your genes and be able to tell what medications you should take. The ADHD meds got me through school. Stopped taking them in uni and in stand chance. Yeah. And you'll notice, and the reason I talk about it is because you're going to find a lot of day traders are ADHD. Which, and to be quite, it's kind of funny, right? Because you can see why it attracts them. It's because it gives them the dopamine and norepinephrine that they lack, right? But is somebody that has attention problems and impulse control problems going to be good at trading? It's difficult. If you have that, and if you have ADHD and you want to trade and you're not taking medication, I would recommend taking medication because you will trade better, straight up. Any idea what futures spiked up on? I've been trying to do. You're talking about 45 minutes ago on the CPI news? They just diagnose you so you can get meds easier? I don't really think it works like that. I think that most doctors will give you medications because you want them. And most of the medications that we're talking about really aren't that harmful. So it's like, okay, sure. A lot of the time it could be, oh, okay, you think you have ADHD? Sure, we'll give it to you. And people that don't have it could be getting it. But, oh, it was CPI? I thought it fell under expectations, though. I can't understand the market. No. That is not what happened at all, my friend. Come back here. I'll show it to you here on Forex Factory. Okay. Oh, that's next week. Why is PPI so far back? Usually PPI is the day after CPI. Okay, whatever. Okay, so CPI spot 3 versus an expected spot 3. Core CPI 0 versus an expected spot 2. So remember that the core CPI, if we come in here and it says, let's look at it, change in the price of goods and services purchased by consumers, excluding food and energy. So when you look at, in particular, housing, so like the cost of apartments and so forth, because of the ongoing trouble in places like in New York, that core CPI number dropped. Okay. Now, there were many people that were very concerned about the specter of inflation, myself included. And there was a lot of speculation that CPI number would be higher than expected because last month it was. And so even though like the estimate was in line, the market was positioned short. You go and look at the treasuries. The treasuries were short overnight, right? So when the news came out that like the core number actually decreased, the treasuries immediately flipped there on that. I'm really thinking back on it, and I'm like, I wasn't ready to be taking trades, so that's okay. But that really should have just been our day right there. Buy the treasury and write it up 8 ticks and be done. And that would have been our day. Seth, what's your thoughts on the GME short reports? Is there still a potential squeeze? No. So we'll go back here to the Morningstar numbers, and I'll show you how you should look at this. So we come over to Morningstar, and we go to GameStop, and we come down here, and down here you see it says, quote, key ratios short interest. The shares short as of January 29th was 21.41 million. Which is in line with the S3 and Ortex numbers that had been reported 2 weeks ago or whenever it was. And the price started plunging. Remember that we were like, first they shut down Robinhood and that was bad, but there was still kind of like a little bit of a run after that. And then there was that day that the S3 number came out and showed that a lot of shorts covered. And so that was what really started the downturn. Well, so everybody was saying, well, I don't know if I trust the S3 numbers. And I certainly had a lot of questions about it. But now, what does this say? The S3 numbers were correct. So when I go on Twitter, there's a ton of people saying, oh, it's 78%. Well, this number that they're saying it's 21 shares short and that the float is 27.29. So I don't know how they calculate the float, but that is not the same number that we were basing everything on before. Fact is, 2/3 of the shorts covered. They were like 71 million shares short, and now they're 20. So over 2/3 of them covered. It's over, in my opinion. And I see a lot of noise. I don't know if this is people just trying to trick you and make it hard to trade, or if they're really just that stupid. But there's all these people over here on Twitter, man. Oh, man. You come over here and you look at GameStop, and there's people that really think that it's going to go. Certainly there was last night. And it wasn't until this morning that I actually started to see some like reality. So, yeah, I think it's done. I think that there might be some retail traders that are clueless still that are going to try and buy it on the open, but I would not participate. I think that it's over. I have no clue what the difference between 60 and 70 or 42 or 120 even really means for the direction of the stock. Well, but that's what I'm saying. Like, one of the tricks that they'll play on you in equities, and I don't know if this is just the way it tends to be or if it's like an intentional thing or what, but one of the tricks that gets played on you is they will change your frame of reference. You'll be looking at a particular number. Everybody's focused on the number, and then when the number comes out, they present it to you in a different form so that you can't really tell how it matters because it's not the same metric as what you were looking at before. So that's why I'm saying that the metric that you should be looking at is the number of shares short, not the percentage of the float. Who cares? The number of shorts. You got in, the percentage was high. Okay, sure. There can be a short squeeze. Now the question was there an actual short squeeze? There was 60 million shorts. There are now 20 million shorts, which means that 2/3 of those shorts got squeezed. So that those days back when we were trading 175 million, that's when they covered. And I can't really prove this per se, but people say, well, how could they have covered? Because there was no volume in that time afterwards, after they shut down the trading of Robinhood shares. And I think the easy explanation to that is that they covered on those big days. Those really big days that they were like crazy up is when they covered. And we didn't know it until several days later when we got the S3 data, because even the S3 data is somewhat delayed. And why would the S3 data be delayed? Well, think about it. How do you think that they calculate the number of shares short? Because there's no data out there that says, oh, this guy, he was going short. To my knowledge, that doesn't exist. The only way that I can think of that they would be able to do it is after it's gone through the back office and everything, right? Well, that takes 2 days. Oh, and the S3 data was delayed by 2 or 3 days. Makes sense, right? So it's over. It's straight up over. I think this thing is just going to careen down once the few retail traders that are still in denial figure it out. This thing is just going to crater. Even COT for futures takes a week to release. Yeah, but that's more because they wait a week so that it doesn't expose people's active positions. So they always give you a late data. Same with the shorts, frankly. Now there was a thread over here that I wanted to look at. Oh yeah, it was Futures Trader asked, is this market regime ideal for you? Mm-hmm. Okay, so the E-mini continues to kind of fade out here. I think it's a plot to fleece commoners again. I don't know. Is Bitcoin a plot to fleece commoners again? This Bitcoin really becomes the thing now, doesn't it? Seems to me that Bitcoin really becomes the thing. And people, yeah. It's craziness, frankly. Peak speculation. People say, oh, we're at peak spec. I'm not so sure we're there yet. It kind of keeps getting there, but then there's like this little bit of like, yep, that they never do. Kind of always gets cut off early. Oh yeah. You know what else I was thinking about today is for some reason all of a sudden I've been getting contacted by a lot of platforms. So I think we got a couple of platforms we can look at. One of them, that people have brought up before in the past, but that I hadn't really looked at. That are more order flow focused. So we'll take a look at them. I think we'll have quite a bit of fun doing that. Man, I'm still sitting here like, just seems kind of meh. Kind of meh. Let me come in here. This thing, I want to turn the executions back on so I can see where was he trying to. Oh, that's an interesting place for Indy to have taken a little short, but okay. Oh, but I don't see. Oh, because he's going to take it on a different. He's going to take it on a different account. So I need to turn the chart trader on. Turn on chart trader. Switch to the other sim account. Right? Sim account 1, correct. There we go. Oh, no, wait, that didn't fix it. That didn't, oh. Oh. Okay, fine. Chart trader hidden. Oh, it's not going to, because he's taking him on the micros. Okay. So. Because I want to see where he's taking him. Aha. Okay. Yes. Yes. No, that's all correct. That's what I want to see, yeah. Turn off the chart trader. And I'm going to come in here and get rid of all this stuff that's on this chart. So that it's not taking up resources. Okay, here's the open. There we go. Okay. Here we open. Let's see if GameStop gets killed here or not. Where is my little chart? There it is. So there's definitely long on the open. It was a good amount of volume too, but they didn't really get a whole lot out of it for some reason. Oh, look at that. Okay. To be honest with you, your attention is always spread out. Well, that's true. But some of that is because I intentionally distract myself. Because otherwise I would just take trade after trade after trade, and that would be bad too, right? But sometimes I do miss things because of that. So that one doesn't look like that's going to turn out, so let's just kind of wait. It wasn't bad. It wasn't a bad spot, but... wasn't a bad spot per se, but clearly against the momentum of the day so far. Them buyers getting hammered. I'm seeing a lot of numbers turning down, but there's GameStop is at the start going down. How's AG doing here? AG is pretty volatile on the open, apparently. So what it looks like. Started out positive and now they're falling as well. But that looks like that's kind of just going along with the larger market. This needs to be up at the top. What's your niche? Order flow? Order flow news. Okay. So there's some trading right there again on the way up. Yeah, GME is getting slaughtered. Look at that. So this is a little curious because I'm seeing some directional indicators in the level 2 now in the ES, but it's just kind of hanging out there. Look at that. Clearly, though, market sell orders, so what's your experience? So the Fidelity platform is pretty solid, but not very feature rich. That's how I would put it. I think their charts suck. But it gets the job done for what I need it to do. Okay. Clicky, clicky. Treasury's sure pulled back off of that. Hmm. Okay. Well, I tell you what, Indy took a short up there at one point and held it through the open and is doing pretty good with it. Oh no, my meme stocks. Yeah, the meme stocks not looking so hot, are they? Let's say the overall market at the moment doesn't look so good. I see a lot of red on my now. A lot of this watch list was so that we could watch those meme stops. Because I think that after today, we're going to have to take some of them off, right? Could add some of those weed and pharmaceuticals. Track the big ones that Reddit's tracking. Do you know the company Adian? No, don't. You know, I'm going to add the reader on so I can keep track with what you guys are saying while I'm watching this.
Orange Ninja 333 says it's a company that handles online transactions. Just hit
Okay.
2,000 euro.
Oh, what's the ticker symbol for them? So I'm seeing
Orange
some
Ninja
okay spots for
333
buying.
says adyen.
Yeah, okay, I don't know. But you notice that over here that we're not really getting a string of buys, of big buy orders. That's kind of what I'm looking for, and I'm not getting. Oof. Curious. Oh, so Squire, he took a long and he never took profits on it, huh? Well, these might need to be adjusted. Some of the targets that they've been going for would probably worked over the past year, but aren't going to work anymore. Ah. Maybe not. Maybe today's just not our day for longs, I had a good idea over here in the treasury, but they didn't film me. Suck. Well, oh, I took those all on experimental, didn't I? Yes, I did. Well, I think it's going to come in here, so I'm just going to wait here. Look at that. He did come in. It was there, but then he got slaughtered.
Doomsday Finance says weak buyers, they probably support Biden.
This doesn't look to me like necessarily anything like huge deal, to be honest.
Winston's mom says, clip, not a good day for long. Good morning, speculator Seth. Good morning, day
Win.
traders. I am listening from the kitchen and not on my keyboard.
Oh, okay. That's becoming a common thing from you guys now, and I'm like, I'm just so flattered that people listen to it.
Winston's
Like
mom
in the
says,
kitchen.
and will everyone watching now, please hit the like button. Thanks.
Okay, so I got a bunch that didn't clear, but were buys.
Uzi Knesset says, I listen to you on the shitter. Scott says, got you on the TVRN grin.
I like watching people stream on television. That is the way to do it, Scott. I agree with you, especially like for games and stuff. Although I haven't. You know, I used to watch people like stream Apex Legends a lot. I was watching one of the streamers that is kind of a more casual guy and really more. I watch him more for like he teaches about stuff, and his gaming isn't really his primary thing. And he was just so bad, I just couldn't watch it. I was like, okay, no more watching streamers play games anymore. Apparently, I'm too old to care now. Oh, is that what it is? Is I turned 35, and so I'm just not interested in that stuff? That's what it is, isn't it? It's not that the games suck. It's me. All this time, on me thinking that it was the games. No, it's just I got old. Well, why would that be? Why would you being older make you not enjoy the games as much? See, they're pretty wishy-washy right there. Yeah.
Doomsday Finance
Looks
says,
like it
what,
could be
35?
turning up.
How did you do that? Will Jutsum says NASDAQ gains from the CPI announcement now pretty much gone.
How did I do that? How did I get to be 35? Well, I'll tell you what happens is you got to be really careful, because the biggest thing that's going to prevent you from getting to 35 is dying. So you got to make sure that you don't do anything too dangerous. Don't catch the Rona or anything like that. And then after that, it's easy though. You just sit there and
down.
tolerance
Scott
levels go.
says, geez, you went dark
My
lol.
tolerance levels already. I tell you what, these days it's just like every day now. I'm reading through Reddit and I see something, I'm like, that's not true. That's not true. That's not true. And it's not just like there's things that I have a difference of it, because there's definitely a lot of things in politics that I have a difference of opinion on. It used to be that I had a lot of, room to argue about difference of opinion. But now all of a sudden, nobody talks about that stuff. And instead, they're talking about things
Doomsday
like in
Finance
markets
says
and
that
stuff.
You look 20 with those blue cute eyes.
Aw, thank you.
Kellerk73 says tomorrow's episode, Seth tries cryo.
There you go. so that we can make it to be like 200 or something. It'll be like a Futurama episode. Oh man. There's definitely like after 30.
Kyle Bertoli says dollar is going up. Maybe this CPI BS is just to get us wrong-footed.
Well,
Kellerk
so the
73
thing,
says head in a jar lol.
the thing that I thought was interesting was that the CPI number being slightly weak wasn't something that I necessarily thought would weaken the dollar. But the way that those kind of go, it's a little hard to call, right?
Kinetics data feed resets a lot.
Yeah? I've been getting that from time to time in Rhythmic. When it gets really crazy, it'll reset on me. But hasn't happened in a while. And I think that it was resetting because like my computer was doing something weird. See, it's like I get in. As soon as I get in, it's all of a sudden they're struggling to get above my price.
Wipes out all my total trades profiles and everything. Really annoying.
Oh, when it resets the volume profile, that really annoys me. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Oh, that's right. TLRY is the cannabis stock that's Reddit's all gaga
CPI
about.
Weakens the dollar because you expect that Fed will keep rates lower for some more time now. It's what investing says at least.
Right. Well, I've seen it go both ways. That's kind of the thing. It's not the particular situation I think about a lot, to be honest with you. It's like I understand which way the Treasury should go in that situation, but I don't necessarily understand the way that
motherfuckers charging aggregate millions of dollars a year for data feeds still can't be reliable, haha.
Right. Well, that's where it gets into. It seems to me that they're not going to give you a piece of information that you could really use to gain an advantage on them. You know what I mean? Like, I think that if you could see the full level 2 data
Doomsday
in
Finance
stocks,
says I think 40 is the limit.
And they weren't allowed to read your order flow the way that they are right now. I think that would hurt them a lot because the retail traders
Kellerk
in the
73
stocks,
says I'm really popping on MJNA.
the retail traders in the stocks have such an advantage on the breaking news on them, it seems. Right? Like the robot doesn't necessarily understand the news, and they're not going to spend the money on having somebody on every one of those, to sit and pull the orders, and they can't. It's like, you know what I mean? They pay for the order flow because that's the only way that they can know that that's coming in and adjust. If they didn't, it would be a much more even playing field, wouldn't it? But it would kind of turn into everybody in retail would play news, and then anytime that it's range bound, you'd just get slaughtered. Which
Doomsday
maybe
Finance
that's okay.
says yep.
Maybe that's okay, but it's also kind of like what I think we're gonna turn into. So it's interesting to me. GameStop kind of seems to be following the overall market right now.
Doomsday Finance says you are smart.
Oh, thanks. I'm really mad that I didn't get filled there in the 10-year because that was a good trade. And over here in E-minis, it looks like they're going to turn up, but they're just going to screw with us like a trillion times before they do. See, look at this. It's like they need the liquidity, and so... Now, this market started at like what, 17? 18. VIX is down. I'd say it looks like silver's kind of not doing a whole lot. That thing in the dollar seems to me like one guy needed to adjust himself and then like that's the end of it. You know what I mean?
Caio Bertoli says, remember when we said about deviation and correlation? I just thought the dollar isn't going down like it's supposed to be and it was aligned with my long technical, so.
Yeah. It doesn't seem like it's doing anything too significant at the moment, but we should continue to monitor it because that could change really quickly. Yeah, my Indy's still holding on to this thing, and is he gonna get his downside target? What is his downside target? No, I'm not gonna look. I don't care. I could go and add on the target things, but they're too distracting to me. Try it
Caio
again.
Bertoli says I'm short 6E at 1.2143 YOLO.
Oh, okay. Bitcoin, did she jinx it, says the market here? What? Yeah, I don't know. Don't know what they're talking about.
Doomsday Finance says at Caio Bertoli this could be the best short in the world right now.
Maybe. It sure seems like that they want to go long, but they're having an awfully hard time getting it started over here in the E-mini, isn't it?
Caio Bertoli says, well, if it isn't, it's the long-term edge that matters. I was going long euro until yesterday. There needs to be a correction sometime.
I'm surprised that GameStop is holding on here.
Doomsday Finance says sorry. Doomsday Finance says at Caio Bertoli, oh, number 6E, that's euro, I mean long.
Maybe in GameStop, the all the retail traders are already out.
Plan B4 Trade says just a bit of buyer's exhaustion.
Perhaps all of the buyers are already out. All the retail traders already bailed. They don't realize it. Executives from Robinhood, Melvin Capital, and Citadel Securities are expected to testify before the House panel on GameStop turmoil, says sources.
Kyle Bertoli says,
So
yeah,
that
60
kind
to
of thing
0.
right there.
Currencies have some strange symbols that start with numbers, lol.
So look at that. They're coming in, they're sweeping like 4 prices. That must be the
Plan
gravity
before trade
back to
says was
20.
referring to S. I don't look at stonks.
Well, I think I've tried playing the long side long enough, huh? So there's going to be a little bit of support down here in the 17 area. Let's see what that gets us.
Kyle Bertoli says, don't worry, Seth, remember, it's all about them stats.
All about them stats. Well, the problem for me is that I don't like that kind of drawdown. So I'm doing it on sim. But like that's exactly the kind of drawdown that we're trying to avoid. And I didn't know what to do about it. Obviously it should be going short, right? But well, we got some news coming in
Winston's
here, right?
mom says,
Wholesale
clip,
inventories.
exactly the kind of drawdown we are trying to avoid.
Zero spot 3 versus an expected 0 spot 1.
Kyle Bertoli says, well, if the drawdown is on sim, even better, you just got the experience without the loss that comes along.
GameStop is running? What the what?
Kellerk73 says, WOOHHHH. Kellerk73 says, gem hooray.
Diamond hands. It calls it gem. Gem hooray. Oh my gosh. That's what I'm going to call it from now on. Oh my gosh.
Kellerk73 says, haha.
That's effing hilarious, man.
Kyle Bertoli says, it's funny because it's a gem, lol.
The large orders still seem to be dominated by sellers, and GameStop
Bogdan
taking off
Onofre
there.
says, GME just doesn't stop, does it?
Yeah, I don't recommend getting on that.
Kellerk73 says, I'm skyrocketing RN
I'm not a
on
financial
memes.
advisor. I'm not touching that. So in my opinion, it's over. And if it runs, it's running off of retail traders not understanding what's going on. MSTR is down pretty big today, by the way. 18%, 20%. Yeah, it looks like I missed it.
Bogdan Onofre says, but please keep the GME graph on the screen at least, smiley face.
Oh yeah, and we're going to keep it there. We're going to keep watching what it's doing. But I'm not going to buy it. The whole thing was like, I want to hold it until...
Says data on U.S. December
that
wholesale
data?
Inventories is due at 10 a.m. Eastern. Federal budget figures for January are set for release at 2 p.m.
I don't think that I would have kept it, even if I hadn't hit my area. But after I got it, then I really started to sour on it. I really started to look through and I was like, oh, you know what, though? They are right. And it's probably just the data is delayed. And the thing that pushed me in that direction was that all of the things that I was reading on Wall Street Bets read like nonsense. So, yeah, I'm sure there's somebody out there that really didn't understand those short interest numbers and are like, buy it, buy it, buy it. But I don't think you want to jump on that one. They're hanging out there on the regular session VWAP for quite some time now, aren't they? I'm looking at like my robots here, and they've made some pretty good entries, but they're not getting their targets because I have set targets and they're all pretty big. And they were trained on a much more volatile market. So should I adjust them to be based on like average true range and stuff like that? Well, when I tried doing that, it didn't quite work out. I think that I can manually adjust it and that I have a pretty good idea of what they should be able to get. So maybe they can be retrained, but that should really be automated, you know? It's just that ATR doesn't seem to be a very good job. Maybe we can do it with directional change. I don't know. Maybe I can do it with the ATR, but I just need to have the right data series on it.
Kyle Bertoli says use ATR 5 minutes 1400 periods, 1 week if you use 23-hour session chart. Trust me.
Yeah, so when I did it, when I back tested it, it made less. Like I tried using an ATR. I tried using both like an ATR on the data series that it was trading and on like a daily ATR. But it didn't seem to work. And I can go and try it again. I'm a little fuzzy about what, like I didn't even save that code. It was, it was like that. So I'm a little fuzzy on
Kyle
what the
Bertoli
exact
says,
stats
oh
were.
sorry, use one STD dev for that.
I don't know. I think what would make the most sense is
says,
a
do you know
daily
if Fidelity
ATR.
will let me get real-time data with a small account balance?
Well, what I'm showing you right now is, well, I mean, I wouldn't say that it's a small account, but I'm pretty sure that they give you what I have. Pretty sure they give you what I have. But realize that Fidelity, they don't intend for most of their traders to use Active Trader Pro. Most of what goes on Fidelity is just through their web interface. Well,
Kellerk73 says good to know. Yoon says how do you refresh Active Trader Pro?
what do you mean refresh? Sometimes if you have it open like and it hasn't switched to the pre-market and aftermarket, I have to just close it and open it back up. There's also settings where you can change how often it updates. So GameStop was taking the rise there, but they got chipped back down pretty hard.
Kyle Bertoli says what I mean is, I use 1440 period 5 minutes ATR with one standard deviation because ATR is just an average and you have to account for them big candles.
Oh man, we should keep an eye on that, man. Look at MSTR. And it's not like Bitcoin is, well, Bitcoin is down. It's about what I would expect for like a how do I put it? A pullback. Although if they come back down into like, if they were to come back to like 4,300 today or something like that, I'm just always kind of looking at these spots like, when I say those sorts of things, I'm not making up a probability prediction. But what I am doing is I'm looking at, there's kind of this area down to this area, right, that they didn't trade through. So you see when they start going through those, there's that whole spot, there's that whole area, right? And then there's the area that the move originated
says
from.
Elon Musk just tweeted about Dogecoin again, lol.
And then there's the area below that. And then that. So that's where it kind of turns into like, those are the next benchmarks. So 4,300, and then below that, 3,800. And if they get below 3,800, then you can kind of guesstimate
Kyle Bertoli
that
says
there's
Elon
a lot of
getting
people,
squeezed, lol.
a lot of people trapped at that point. So it's not necessarily a probable thing, but I can say that if they're able to get there and they're able to start getting momentum, that the behavior will change. So then I see them get to that point, I take a look at it again and I see how it's moving, and then that's when it's like, oh, okay, like it is falling apart. You know what I mean?
Doomsday Finance says I wish they dig a hole into those vegan millennial pockets.
I bought some Dogecoin for little X so he can be a toddler hodler. Well, I think the whole Dogecoin thing is ridiculous. We were looking at it the other day. Let's pull up let's pull up CoinMarketCap. Maybe I need to add Delta on here. Maybe I need to start opening up Delta for you guys too. Good grief. Dookie coin. That's what I think. That's how I think it's pronounced, is doggy. Doogie. The news squawk is just telling me about Elon buying Dogecoin. Oh, make it stop. Oh my gosh. Oh, this is so retarded. Okay. So here's Dogecoin, right? I just want to see price. I hate how it shows all that crap. Okay. So here's Doge. Oh, they stopped me out. Screw you guys. These guys in the E-mini makes me a little bit mad. I'm going to keep trading it here. Wait, well, hold on. Clearly, it's, I don't know. I still think it's going to turn back up. And then I'm going to be like, yep, you see, they just played with you and then it ran all day. Well, that was a pretty aggressive down move. Look at that. It was 39.15. It's actually, I'm getting a couple of things that tell me to get in here. Hold on, we're just gonna play it here because this is, how much should we give ourselves? 100. That was a lot of absorption down in there. Okay. Dogecoin. After all of the hype and everything, oh, we want to get to $1. They're at 8 cents. After all that hype. Okay, so you get Elon back in there, man. Elon, if you think that you're going to get $1, I would take this pump that you're probably going to get off of it and bail. That's what I would be doing if I was Elon. Because otherwise, you're going to be the one left holding the bag. Now, Garlic Coin going pretty good yesterday, and now they're at 25. So another 15% day today. So you know what? I was going through on the Garlic and into Garlic servers and so forth. They've got a pretty good Discord server. And the number of people that were coming into Garlic, it was like all of a sudden the community had completely reactivated. It was really interesting. It was not what I expected. That thing in Garlic, I don't know what's going to happen, but it seems to me like that's just getting started. Because they were saying they were going to make a release, in fact. Because like the stuff that you get, right, like if you download the wallet and stuff right now, like some of the things like the nodes that it's using and stuff like that aren't set correctly. So like they're going to do a release apparently. And I was like, everybody was like just coming together and picking it up. It was really interesting.
Kellerk73 says, is Elon even a good investor? Or just more of an inventor? Businessman?
It's a good question.
Orange Ninja 333 says, why is Garlic interesting to you?
Because I own it. You know what? Screw this. No thanks. I'm on probation. Well, one of them Indy did get his target, and then he immediately flipped. That's interesting to me. Squire got stopped out. Brandon never took another trade, though. It's just even more interesting.
Doomsday Finance says, don't miss out on the Garlic.
You're going to be looking at me, dude, when I'm a millionaire, and you're going to be like, I could have been a millionaire with him. All I needed to do, all I could have done when Seth mentioned it was at 25 cents. I just bought like $400 worth of Garlic coin and I would be a millionaire. But I missed out. That's why I feel so bad even saying that kind of stuff. Trying to make you guys FOMO into Garlic.
Garlic coin.
Fermented black. You got to understand, Garlic coin is the shittiest of shit coins.
Says Garlic max supply is 69 million lol.
Exactly. They mine more Dogecoin in like a month than there ever will be in Garlic coin.
Scott says you going to be doing O-face thumbnails next.
So I look at this and I'm like, I should be going short. The trend is short, but why do I still want to go long? I don't understand. And why is it that I took that discretionarily? Of course, I kind of early on said like, oh, this isn't for me, but we'll just keep trading it on Sim.
Kyle Bertoli says I tried to buy Garlicoin yesterday, made an account at one of the 2 exchanges, but got stuck at depositing. Lol, I'm an old man when it comes to crypto.
Oh, really? Were you not able to get your Bitcoin over to that exchange? They were it was like in the Discord server, they were saying that they were trying to get on Binance. I don't think it's gonna happen, but they were trying to get on Binance, so.
Kyle Bertoli says I don't own Bitcoin. Lol.
If they were to get on Binance, like, holy crap, man, game on. Oh my gosh, if they got on Binance, I wouldn't be surprised to see them just like right up to $1 again, you know? There it goes again.
Kyle Bertoli says so I must own a Bitcoin wallet then?
Well, so if I wasn't in it at all and I just wanted to trade it, then what I would do, the way that I would be doing it is I would be going to Coinbase Pro and buy Bitcoin, and then I would transfer that Bitcoin over to the Fry exchange or which one has more volume, I wonder actually. Yeah, it looks like you'd want to go to the Fry exchange, and then I would exchange my Bitcoin for Garlic coin. That's how you do it. Why?
Kyle Bertoli says yeah, I did it. Fry.
They took that long and got killed. And what about the other one? Well, the other one is doing okay. Ooh, there's some funky stuff going on in here. Look at that one. Look at that one that Jay took. So he saw the order flow all going one way, and so he shorted it and got his target almost immediately. But look at where the things are like pointing out at and stuff. Oh, it must be only showing me on the 1 minute chart. Hold on. So is it over? Yeah, it is. No, we don't want that one. We want it on the range. We want it on the range text and marker. Okay. There you go. Yep. See? So we got the right up there, and then it immediately went and he got it. That's exactly what's supposed to do, but not necessarily something like that. So maybe the whole J is not crazy. So I was starting to think that maybe it was just a crazy idea. Well, that's unfortunate that Indy took that, caught that big trade, but then it's
Doomsday
taken
Finance
some
says
losers.
Garlic Coin 30K, let me hit that 1 billion net worth.
Now, are we going below? It's getting close. I don't know why it's moving. I'm completely surprised.
Sebastian Newman says uptick on downtrend robot
98. Oh, that's okay. So they've touched. Oh, you buy that. This is either the bottom or it's gonna get really crazy.
Big Toasty says hey, hand waving. Orange Ninja 333 says how much garlic do you own? 5 cloves?
Too much. Too much. A lot. I'll just say a lot. I didn't spend money on it. Let's put it that way. I mined it for like 2-3 years, whatever. I mined it until last January. I haven't mined for the last year because the pool that I was using disappeared. Maybe I should start mining it again.
Big Toasty says garlic, probably I will buy this shitcoin top.
Shit. Okay, so was that what I just said? It's like this is either
Big
the bottom or it's
says
about to
too.
get really ugly. I'm just gonna click furiously and see what happens. Watch it, probably gonna turn around now because I'm doing that. Probably I will buy this shitcoin. I would say that in the garlic coin that your risk
Sid
is still pretty
Chitness
low.
says the market just took a huge dump.
They took a huge dump on that one, right? And I'm not like, there's no news. Wait. World Health Organization vindicates the UK government strategy with the AstraZeneca vaccine on both counts, recommending the vaccine be given 8 to 12 weeks apart, saying a longer gap is associated with
nice
greater
entry.
vaccine efficacy.
Greg Orlovsky says caught some of this ass short, but not sure why the move.
I don't know what's going on. It's going to turn around on us now, probably. That's an unusual market
Big
move.
Toasty says, oh, I thought you were long.
Well, I was long, but I tried clicking and going, short, and then it didn't work out. I'm not anything, dude. This is all sim. I switched to my screw around account.
Sid Chitness says no news at all. Sid Chitness says move came on no news.
Wait a second.
Big Toasty says happens. Will Jutsum says market was due a correction.
Do you see what I'm looking at here? Pull up a chart of Tesla.
Big Toasty says forgive yourself, you gonna make mistakes.
I'm just a little disappointed because I'm having a hard time catching something. The robots that kind of just do
Doomsday
okay.
Finance says that could be Biden saying something like tax Tesla.
No, it's the Tesla. I think it's Tesla. Ooh, this is bad. I mean, this could just be like a one-day thing and then it go away. But why are they selling Tesla?
Winston's mom says, clip, do you see what I am looking at here?
I'll switch over here on Twitter, TSLA. Flush. Good time to buy the dip. Oh gosh, guys.
Doomsday
Let's
Finance
change
says, is
this.
it because that dump in Bitcoin?
Could be.
Doomsday Finance says, how much were they invested?
Zero Hedges
Big Toasty says, I am
tweeted Tesla's now
Good
more
luck, have a
volatile
nice
than
day.
Bitcoin. Thank you for chilling with me, making me feel better about how my discretionary edge is just like literally not there. I'm just so frustrated. It's because it's like you give up on it, right? And that's like exactly where it turns. Clearly, though, what was I trying to do? I was trying to market make, and there's informed trading come through here, right? I'm going to lose in that situation unless I happen to just be market making short, and I'm not quite sure why I didn't try and go short. Well, no, I know why I didn't try going short, because I thought it was just a pull. Like there's no reason for it to do that. They went well below yesterday's low. In fact, they are starting to get into like the previous day's lows. That's a pretty wild move out of nowhere.
King of Bybit Teaching Crypto
Yeah,
says, can barely even see the
85.
dip on the daily 4-hour on Tesla making a higher low.
72 is the second deviation. I'm going to try it.
Vlad Stolyarov says, up on the day. Vlad Stolyarov says, no positions now.
And Bitcoin is falling too. So is it the case that Tesla has become...
Caio Bertoli says, maybe markets are crying for the Fed, please keep rates low despite lower CPI.
Well, the lower CPI means that they will keep them low, right? That's why I think that it was good news initially. Yeah, look at the change in cumulative delta there in Bitcoin, by the way. Do you see that? Right there. So I did it, and MSTR is doing the same thing. Hold on, the news clock is still talking about these numbers that I just got. The EIA numbers, the oil numbers. So I suspect that what is going on is that because Tesla bought Bitcoin and Bitcoin is going down today, and that Bitcoin and Tesla and MSTR have become intrinsically correlated, and they are trading it because of that. And because Tesla comprises such a large segment of the S&P 500, it is now pulling everything down with it as it goes, because there really is not any news that I am seeing that would be a second standard deviation justification. Not at all. So it has to be the market correlations and the positioning and everything. And the only correlation, the only thing that I'm looking at right now that really stands out to me is the fact that Tesla is down 5%. Now, this downturn started before he started saying, oh, I bought Dogecoin and stuff like that. But yeah, I almost wonder if people are even starting to say, like, dude, Elon is just going crazy and he's gonna destroy his company with Bitcoin or something like that. I don't know. The other day, everybody was saying like, well, every company should start adding Bitcoin to their balance sheet. And I look at this right now, and if our theory is correct about that, then that whole theory is going to go down the tubes real fast. You know what I mean? You should go to NBC. I don't know. If Tesla is falling because of the Bitcoin, then this whole narrative, like every company should go and buy Bitcoin and everything, is going to flip on its head. And all of a sudden, owning Bitcoin will be so toxic. And especially if they start coming back down and they get back below like 40,000. Oh, man. Like, I knew that there was kind of this web of stuff, but now that you look at it and you see how the S&P 500 could be potentially entwined with all of this, it gets a little scary, doesn't it? By the way, silver kind of took a little bit of a dive on all that too. Holding BTC on your balance sheet would kick the crap out of your balance sheet when Bitcoin crashes, right? I think that would make people dump the stock. Well, yeah, like, but that's where I start thinking about it, and I'm like, okay, well, if they lose $500 million on Bitcoin, what aggregate effect is that on their earnings? And when I looked through the numbers, it wasn't really significant. But then when I started thinking about it a little bit more after that stream, I started realizing like, yes, but the potential market impacts from that could be way more influential than the actual loss is, right? It's like they're trading it because of Bitcoin. That goes down. They have to sell Bitcoin. Everybody expects that the Bitcoin has to sell. That causes the stock price to go down, and you just get like this vortex of all your value being lost for no real reason. And you'll be looking at it, and that's the thing that I think could be really devastating about it, is that the people there that are in charge of all of this are going to be true believers, and they're going to say, well, this move is irrational. Like, our stock is not, that loss is not that significant of an impact on our earnings, but because of the market correlation that they've created, it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? This is all theoretical. I don't think that we have a lot of proof to prove that this is happening yet, do we? But it's definitely like on the radar, right? Oh, by the way, it should have taken a little bit off there, huh? Stonks only go up. Bitcoins only go up, right? Oh, that would be really sad though if the whole Bitcoin. Well, I mean, it's what my model and everything that I've been saying is going to happen, is that we're still going to crash. But it would be really sad if like today was the day that the real crash in Bitcoin started and the garlic coin never took off, you know? That's okay. We can just start mining more of it and wait for the next rise. I mean, I know that this is crazy, but like I actually am kind of looking for the second deviation, like 3870. Probably I should take some. Well, it looks like I'm already too late. I wasn't really very aware of where I was. Now Tesla is still now near its lows, so it's not really going. What about GME is still 48. It shouldn't affect their balance sheet unless they are too leveraged heavy into Bitcoin. I've heard estimates of 1 to 5% of liquid cash. If true, Bitcoin price movement shouldn't hit earnings too hard. No, you're right. That's exactly what I'm saying. It's $1.5 billion is the amount. Okay. So even ignoring what their balance sheet looks like, as a percentage of their own earnings, a $500 million loss isn't the end of the world for Tesla. You're right. But here's the question for you. Why is Tesla down today? 5%. Explain this. Tesla is down 5%. Apple is almost flat on the day. What about Goldman? Goldman down maybe almost 1%. Spot 7%. Keller says because God, no. He knows us very, very much, but sometimes he knows what's better for us. Saf, becoming a garlic coin millionaire is not the best thing for you right now. I'm sorry. Crap. No, you know what? I refuse to believe it. Nope. We're still. Hey, do I have Delta installed? Delta? Nope. Need to go back and install it then, I guess. Ooh, they coming back down there awfully fast. It's kind of funny that through all of this, the treasurers are just like, well, we were up already anyway, so we'll just kind of hold. Okay. A lot of traders selling Bitcoin and Apple scoops up $5 billion. I really don't think that Apple's going to do that. I tell you what, when I see people starting to buy something off of an analyst, complete speculation. Like there's literally no evidence whatsoever that Apple is even thinking about this. We have no information from inside of Apple about what their opinion is on Bitcoin or any of that. And this analyst is saying, oh, well, but they could do this and people are buying it because of that. You've got to be joking, right? Tesla also bought Bitcoin for tax purposes, as the way they filed their Bitcoin holdings is to claim unrealized losses without taking the loss by selling the actual Bitcoin, which is interesting. Do you think that it's the correlation matters? I don't know. All I know is that the market is taking a pretty nasty turn down today, and there doesn't seem to be any rhyme or reason to it other than that Tesla is down 5% on the day and Bitcoin is down on the day. Because I'm clueless right now. I don't know. There seems to me like evidence of informed trading, but I don't know what the information is. Tell me more about this slowdown in China. Iron ore rallies for the fifth day, set for 6% weekly gain on demand hopes. Nope, that doesn't explain it. Only Elon can. No, I don't think he knows either. You have to ask the person that was selling all that, He knows. Who knows what information lurks in the heart of market orders? Only the sellers know. Sultan says China. I do see a few people on Twitter here saying a few things about China, but like the overnight data on China was good, right? I don't know. That one's kind of weird. So you kind of look at that first bounce and you say, oh, well, maybe that's like the low of the day. And then they're chilling out down here at the bottom, right? Like, is that sort of thing that makes me think that we're going to go down to 38.70. There's a new low. Now, oil is kind of all over the place. The dollar really hasn't moved off of all of this. So this is another thing that makes it kind of weird, is that like the E-mini is absolutely puking. The E-mini is like something is dreadfully wrong, and no other asset is really moving. I mean, the treasuries are up today, yes, but that was off of the CPI data, and they've just been hanging out there, and they haven't really reacted since the E-mini started plunging. The dollar isn't moving. None of the other currencies are moving. Silver's not moving. Oil, I mean, it's moved a little bit, but not really. It's just the E-mini. And by the way, the E-mini is actually the outperforming one right now. Apparently, RTY is getting crushed. So we're down 0.5% on the SPX, but the Russell is down almost 1% now, 94.94%. And the NASDAQ down 0.91%. And the Dow Jones Industrial handling it better. Okay, so there's a lot. Somebody was trying to absorb some contracts there, and they are just slicing right through him. There. Okay, so now here, Zero Hedge is picking up on the same thing that I am. Tesla slides after Musk tweets he bought Dogecoin and drags market lower. Are you, Zero Hedge, are you watching my stream? Because listen, if you're watching my stream and you're not helping me out by tweeting about me and posting stuff about me on Zero Hedge, come on. Here's the funny thing about it, is that at this point, reflexivity, man. Do you guys know what reflexivity is? Reflexivity is the theory by George Soros that he claims that he uses to trade off of, where he says that sometimes it could be something that's not true, but because that's what the market participants believe, the untrue piece of information still ends up impacting their behavior, and that goes back and actually ends up affecting the fundamentals. So here, the market may not be moving down because Elon Musk tweeted about buying more Dogecoin. But I picked up on that. Zero Hedge is now saying that is trying to blame it on that. And so just that alone kind of means that it kind of will be that's the reason that we sold, or at least that's what people will believe. You know what I mean? It seems to me like that's what people are going to come out as. They're going to be like, oh man, cryptocurrencies are going to crash the market. That could be the thing that pops the bubble, man. At least the Bitcoin bubble. MSTR down 22% today, by the way. See, look at that. Yeah. What is Dogecoin doing now? Well, I have a good app called Delta. That is pretty good. Haven't installed it. Get the application. Oh, do they not have it on desktop anymore? They look at the way that it's trading. So like I was saying, this kind of stuff right here, when you start getting that, that is either the bottom or the bottom is falling out. There's only two options from that one. And frankly, if I had been trading it live, I wouldn't be touching. Once I start seeing that, if I was short, if I had been short this whole way down, I would be taking it off there. And then just out at that point, because it's like it's angry and it's gonna stop you out no matter what you do, you know? So what are you saying? So it's not the Dogecoin that triggered the move. Sorry, Zero Hedge. That's what they think. Who else do you think picks up on that, huh? What is Delta Direct? Oh, it's a coin, of course. Durr. I don't want your stupid coin. Okay, well, here's a... Bitcoin down 6% today. Does Dogecoin even show up on their listing here, man? No. Of course not. I mean, we just gotta go to CoinMarketCap. You have to find a better way to monitor the Bitcoins, apparently. Okay, so Dogecoin is down 6%. Down 6%. Lucas says markets were fine when I went away, and now I come back, and what's driving it? I don't know. Well, I think that the overexuberance on the inflation data being low probably contributed here. It kind of looks to me like one of those situations where it just kind of happened, and it will be very difficult to empirically prove why the market did what it did. But the narrative that I am seeing some people pick up on, and I very much noticed it at first, is that Tesla is getting creamed today, down 5%, and that is possibly because Bitcoin is down today. Here, if you look at MSTR, that one is down a whole 23%. Okay, that one's really getting slaughtered, right? And it looks like Tesla is dragging the rest of the market with it. I can't recenter my NQ dump. Oh, that's why I don't trade NQ. You know, if Jigsaw had a way that you could like combine prices, so I could be like, you know what, make every level on my DOM be 4 ticks instead of 1 tick, you know? Then maybe I could read NQ and see what's going on in there. But with the way that it is, it's like it's crazy. Reuters, increase in the cost of gasoline was blunted by a slump in airline fares, suggesting inflation could remain banging for a while. Okay, so this is a good. You're on the right track here, Win. You're pointing out something important that I think we should have realized before, but that it could be the case that we're not getting inflation, and that a lot of stocks and other assets have been buying up because the market expected that there would be inflation. Yeah. And now they're saying, the reflation narrative isn't coming. We are overvalued. Because I don't see how you justify these valuations without some, 3% inflation coming in, right? So I think that's a good theory. What else was I thinking here? Zero Hedge tweeted, did Powell leak the fake speech with the June hike text? I don't know what he's talking about. Are they gonna hike in June? Is that the I don't see anything like that. Zero Hedge was tweeting that GameStop jumped 15%. Well, like it did, but then it went back down. Oh boy. Yeah, I don't see that, so I don't know what he's talking about. Zero Hedge declaring the great correction is over. What? Image of Yellen calling the PPT. Oh, because they don't have one yet. Oh, that's funny. So anytime that the market was getting really ugly, Zero Hedge would post a picture of Mnuchin calling, the plunge protection team to come in and rescue the markets, and then we would be up and we'd end the day positive. But they don't have a picture of Yellen on the phone yet, so yeah. Is Tesla bouncing back? Well, it's bouncing a little bit, yeah. I think that I just always look at it from the perspective of where people's positions, and so clearly there's going to be a gap in the profile here, right, at 820. So if they can get above 820, that doesn't mean that it will retrace all the way, but it does mean that there's probably going to be a number of traders down here stuck. Whew. And that came back awfully fast. It was quite a ride down, and that bounced pretty hard. I don't necessarily see anything down there that indicates to me why it would bounce there. But this impulse is pretty strong. You're getting some positive cumulative delta on it too, so that could be it. I can't fund my Coinbase account with USD. Why not? Well, you're from Brazil. I don't know. It seems to me that Coinbase would be the best place. You might not, you might have to wait for them to verify your accounts and your cards and stuff, but perhaps there is a Brazilian exchange that's better, that you can exchange Brazilian currency for Bitcoin or something. I don't know. Should it be scary that Bitcoin and NASDAQ are in sync? If that's really what's going on, keep in mind that we don't really have a whole lot of empirical evidence to say that that's what's going on, other than noticing the correlation and not really being able to come up with a better explanation, But if Bitcoin and the S&P do start to become in sync, and we become certain, or we have more evidence to suggest that that's why, yeah, it scares me a lot. Bitcoin being blamed for a bout of market volatility in the wider economy is just about the worst thing that could possibly happen to Bitcoin. Like that could be the sort of a thing that is like the final nail in the coffin, you know? I believe Tesla's not the only company in the NASDAQ invested heavily in Bitcoin. Yeah, I mean, I believe that they do have to disclose it in filings, but you're saying that maybe other people have done it and they just haven't announced it yet. But the thing is that it was like, it kind of turned into a like you want everybody to know sort of a thing, right? It was like people buy your stock because you did that. I don't know. Does anybody know? We're not sure. We're not sure. Live action. There's some suggestion that it has to do with Tesla and Bitcoin. I was also suggesting that it could be because the market was pricing so high because of expectations of future inflation. And if we're going to continue to be in a deflationary environment, then we're overvalued. It does look like for the moment that they're not going to go for the 3870. I say today is just a loss for me. Couldn't figure this one out. Are Texans nicer than people from me? I don't know, but you look at the I'll show you. They were on the sim. And after this point was when I like said fuck it. So I would really only, and these ones were the other accounts. So really I would be down $20. I would be down $20 today is what would really be the net effect here. And I guess I'll give up on this long too. So sorry, this short will flip. Because why not? But and then this one right here was when I was like, okay, this is either the end or it's gonna get like it's getting angry. Why are you mean? I'm not mean reversion biased, actually. Like that's the thing. So the reason why I end up doing so bad in a situation like that is because there appears to be, is probably because there's informed trading on something that I'm just not aware of. Right. So when I start seeing a big move and there's no reason for that big move, then my tendency is going to be find the spot where they're all absorbing it and try and reverse it. And often that works really well. But that only works if you really truly have all of the information, you know? And today I didn't. And it still seems to me that I run into enough situations where that's happening, and I try it too many times for me to really feel comfortable trading my live account again, because you can't do that, right? Now, that's part of why I got these robots. But, the robots are kind of long biased. Even Indy caught some really good trades, but even he ended up losing money on it. I actually caught the bottom after an 18th time, but so beat up close to her. Yeah. Well, it really is. Like that move off of the bottom and everything, and I wouldn't be surprised to see us close the day at 39.20. How many times has that happened? You know? But who knows? It's quite frustrating because I'm not sure what to do about it. Are your bots scout? Yeah, they are. Here, did you see those? So my micro robot, I guess, is doing okay. Brandon did great. Brandon is just always seems to be on, and that's the one that I expect to do the best. But Indy at one point he had like a $500 winner, and he gave it up. Let's see here. Strategy, performance, real time. How many trades did he end up taking today? 5. 5, and only one of them won. But that's where you would expect him to lose. Now, I need to incorporate the filters that I have tried on Jay and try them on Indy and see if that improves him. Today will be a good place to test it, huh? Now, it'd be also interesting to me. See, like, it should just go. Well, okay. I'm gonna set a stop there and do they trade? Does it? No. I could try putting them on the ZN. I bet you Brandon would do okay on ZN. Look at that. Yeah, they're gonna stop me up. Yeah, so the stuff that I do manually are things that I really can't program, right? So there's some things where it just kind of seems like I just catch it really well for whatever reason, and then there's sometimes when it's just really bad. Now, I'll often notice that when I start doing really bad on a day and then all of a sudden it just turns into like a really awful day for whatever reason, and I don't know what causes that. But let's pull over here. And that's where it's like the issue is always ends up being that like you can see the type of situation that screws you over, but it's impossible to see that it's that situation until it's too late, right? Does Brandon make smoke cigar? No. Brandon. Let's make his stop be 4 ticks and the reward factor 2. What's the threshold? I forget. Well, we'll just stick with that. And we'll only use this week's of data. And you have to have tick replay on, and we'll do the tenure. So I may have to adjust them a little bit. Okay. Well, Jay's doing pretty okay now. Only took 2. Wait, what? That's unusual. Let's look at the chart. Yeah, maybe that's just not good enough for him. Or did I, well, I did have tick replay on. Maybe what we need to do is that this one we probably should use instrument settings on, to be honest. So let's try that. Let's turn off the sound here. O2 is a 50% retrace point. Well, that just means that the people the market makers that were going short covered. Okay, so when I do it that way, it makes a little bit of money. But what would it have done today? Oh. Well, that's interesting. I think for Brandon, it might for the ES, it might make more sense to let it stop and reverse. It's funny how market maker, well, they do. It's just that in aggregate they don't, right? Because they assume that all trades are martingales, which means that it'll come back up. And every once in a while it doesn't work, and then they... Huh. Wait, why would Indy go short there? That's odd. Oh, yes, that's right. I'm surprised Indy not take more trades like that. Maybe I need to go like that and say it's only 2 tick stop. Still only takes 2 trades this week. Well, I don't know. But the point is, I trained them on the S&P 500, and all of the theories that I was using is based on the S&P 500. So wouldn't expect them. Maybe there's some application over to the treasuries, but clearly they don't take enough trades over in the treasuries for it to really be worth it. Now I am mad because I remember I was like here at, what was it, 25.5, where I was like, yeah, that's a great buy, and they never filled me. No, and I wouldn't recommend trading Forex. Forex, it behaves differently as well, but it's kind of funny, Forex. Most people trade it so very much off of technical levels and stuff. The Forex world is so much technical analysis, but the action is very news driven. Like the place where you can have a real edge is like if you're in a government position or whatever and you know this information, you can trade on it without it being insider trading, right? Brandon might like something like gold. I don't know. Probably not, actually. Forex is not as big of a scam as it used to be, and that's the nicest thing anyone can say about it. Well, it's funny because it's less people do it now because FXCM went under, right? So over on the robot side, it's kind of like Like if I look at it right now, they all lost $20. But like that's okay to me. It seems to me that they behave the way that was intended. And that if I were to run them for a year, there'd probably be some drawdowns that I'd be unhappy with, but that I would probably make money. Assuming that they perform in live the way that they have been on the sim. But there's just always these little things about their performance that I'm like, that's not acceptable. That's not acceptable. And then it seems like I have no way to address them. So yesterday I tried adding some filters. And, because your typical moving average filters and stuff, it just doesn't seem to do a good job. They filter out too many good trades. So I started using directional movement. Now, I don't know how accurate the way that I was doing it or good the way that I was doing it would be. I think that I'm going to have to go and make my own indicator to really test some of my theories about how that works. But it did work in that it didn't reduce the number of trades by a ton, and it increased the percentage by like 1% or something. So it wasn't nearly as impactful as I wanted it to be, but it was still an improvement. But you can see here on, Joseph and Jay, where I implemented them, they still lost money today. Now, what is Jay doing? Let's see here. When we look at Jay's real-time performance, he still took a lot of trades. He took 27 trades today. He is hitting close to the win rate that he's supposed to. So I'm not sure why he losing money to be honest. I'm not sure why he was doing so much better other days and not as well today. Maybe it was the change that I made. Maybe the change that I made is bad. I don't know. The problem with Jay is that the way that it backtests and the way that it performs when we're running it on this, the sim data is very different. Because Jay, what? You don't even know how it works, Blunt. Stop talking out your ass. You don't know jack shit what you're talking about. I haven't shown you the code. You don't know what it takes for entries and exits. You don't know anything about it. These people sometimes. Good grief. Never trust the bot. Well, I'm pretty how do I say, like, pretty skeptical about the long-term efficacy of the bots. Yeah. Because there really is like a... I don't need to see it. Okay, Blunt. Only you know, and he's not going to give us any information other than just saying shit. I tell you what, if you come into people's streams just to say, oh, everybody's doing it wrong, and then you don't actually offer anything like empirical evidence or testable, strategies, then, like, go away. It doesn't seem to be, well, it's actually, so that then, now that's where you kind of get interesting, is that if we look at J, real-time and historical, can we look at that? Yeah. How far will it go back here for? Oh, well, it'll only go back the last 7 days because I replaced him. No, actually, how else can we do that? We can do that by going to the account and do it. Yeah. Strategy, trade performance. So if I just come in here, well, so here's the first thing is that if we go from the beginning of January, we're a little down. or our performance from the beginning of January isn't awful. For instance, we are pushing pretty good numbers there on win rates. Is this... Oh, we're probably... So now if I do it that way... That's correct. Is it down 1,000? That's 62, 67. But I think that if we come into the analysis... trades? Oh, okay. Yeah, so that's right. We had 2 of them going, and then I turned the other one off. So we should really only be doing it from, what was trade 145? From... Wait, only from the first? Okay. So I guess I just need to take this off when we got rid of the one that wasn't trading the micros. Okay, there you go. Yeah, so now we can just look at it from trades. So when you look at it from that perspective and you say, okay, like, yeah, we lost today, but like, I see that he's going pretty well. And because he is really doing very much a market making kind of thing, we should expect that he would lose money on a day like today. And that it was only $20. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. And probably what I should do at that point when the market starts getting like the angry is like just like turn it off, right? So I feel like the live simulation is more accurate than the backtest. There's so many things that could go wrong in the backtest. Well, so that's where I kind of run into some iffy issues with Jay, right? Because really what I would prefer is that the backtest and the live simulation look exactly the same. But with Jay, it appears that the area that he's looking to trade has competition. So I think that what is happening is that I've found a solid edge, and that edge has already basically been arbitraged out of the S&P 500, out of the ES, but not the micro ES. That's what I think is happening, because I run them the same. They should be taking like the same entries and stuff, and they don't. And it catches it so much better on the micro ES than it does the regular ES, which I don't understand. And it's like when you run it in the back test, it looks great, right? But then when you look at the live performance on that one, on the ES, it just loses and loses, and it's absolutely terrible. And it doesn't get anywhere close to the win rate that it's supposed to, or in any of that. But then it gets it on the micro ES. And isn't that weird? So that's the problem with him. Well, the other ones, so then if we come back over here and we go to these guys, okay. And I even think that we could potentially go further back than that. I think that we could go to the beginning of the year. But we'll see, because there was certain places where I like had to change things and stuff. Yeah, okay, so at the beginning of the year, so you can see here where it's like, so this right here, this drawdown is, I don't know what the deal is with that, but I would say that this matches pretty well what my backtesting says that they should do. I wasn't sure how they would all behave together, but when you're looking at it, it looks pretty okay, right? When we come back to the summary, right, we're hitting about the numbers that I think we should. We'll get a lot more long trades because some of the algorithms are long biased. It's really the one that's losing is probably Indy, because Joseph and Squire are long only and Brandon is both. So probably if we took Indy out of that mix, because I there's some questions about him, then again I think we'd probably be looking way better. I would probably be positive off of that. So do you get what I mean? So I don't think that the robots are doing too bad. And again, on a nasty day like today, that's when I expect the robots to lose. Actually, to be honest with you, so then there's this other issue, which is like micros versus ES, right? So I think I can move Joseph and Squire over to micros because they don't. Yeah, let's do that. It's 7 more minutes, but we'll do that because they don't use order flow, right? Indy, Brandon, and Jay use order flow. So when I tried using Brandon on micros, it didn't work. Indy would be interesting to see on Indy. We could try just not, there's this whole thing of like you run it on the micro. You run it on the ES data, but you take the entries in the micros. And when I've been doing that it reduces the performance. It doesn't work as well for whatever reason. I don't know why. Maybe it's because of a delay in I don't know. Like this one gets the update and then this one gets the update later. Oh, maybe that is it. That could be it. You say keep your eye on copper. Well, do I not have one open for Kappa? They were looking really good earlier today, but I'd say they're still looking pretty good actually. They came back, but copper is still like, why am I not long copper? Anyways. So where do any of these have trades? So since they're not in any trades, I'll take all of these and let's come in here. So Joseph and Squire, we will edit and we will start running them on MES. And actually, heck, you know what? Why not? Indy MES2. And I guess I'll make a bunch of extra accounts for them. And maybe I'll just split them all out into separate accounts. I don't know. Nah, but I think I should have three sets. Because I think that Jay needs to be in his own account because that one seems to be weird. Versus, the other ones. Like I can have Brandon because he's trading on the E-mini. And because he doesn't seem to be able to transfer over to the micro. So we may go through all of this and maybe only 2 of these actually graduate. Maybe 3. Maybe Jay will. Maybe we can't trade Jay. I think that if we trade Jay, I'm not going to trade Jay with my own money though. I'll put him on a combine or something like that. Oh, let's cancel this order. They've been sitting down there for a long time and they never filled me, but I'm going to cancel that order because we're going to be ending here soon. If Jay was a horse. Let's see here. What else did you guys say here? Oh, Ace went long. Did they read from Rhythmic? Yes. So it's all Rhythmic data. And like I said, I am using tick by tick historical bid-ask prices. But that's where there's some real question, like how accurate is the tick replay I don't know. It seems to me like that when I'm doing something that's just like cumulative delta or my indicator, like it's fine. But if I try and do something that's like a one range bar, it doesn't test the same. Now I know that one range bars don't go back and redraw or do any of that kind of nonsense. So I'm not entirely sure why it doesn't perform the same as in the back test. It must be something to do with lag or something. But like I said, we've been running him on micros and he's been doing okay, so. And the setup for J is pretty simple. We can filter it a lot. I added one filter today. I don't know how he would have performed without, maybe he would have done better without the filter. Is that ninja lag? Well, I don't even think it's so much it's ninja lag. It's just like when you look at this bar over here, okay? Like this is what it's running off of, right? So if we get a move like this and it decides to take it long from right here, you know, this bar right here, it might only be that price for like a millisecond, you know? And so no matter how fast your machine is, by the time it submits the order, it's getting this right here. And so that's, I believe, why it doesn't seem to be very accurate to the back test. So that's my theory, at least. And that's also my theory as to why it works on the micros but not the ES, is that the ES already has the robots out there doing this kind of arbitrage and taking that out, and the MES doesn't, and so it doesn't move up as fast. And so, you know, I can't believe the market is ignoring my call to go long. Yeah, you know what, Ace, well, so hold on. We'll do one more thing and then we'll go. Oops. Let's just assume what we're doing in MES. Yeah. ECB lane, such a currency would only be issued if and when the time is right. A Canadian digital currency isn't by no means a foregone conclusion. So we got one. But do you see what's happening here? Go get the princess. Maybe it's opposite day. I'm just like here is my understanding of your strategy running in on back test today, right? So that's the trade that you just took, right? That the market just ignored. Yeah. So when you go with the most basic parameters, of course, you wouldn't have traded until here, right? And I do remember you were around. But see, like, here's a perfect example. It goes long, and then bedish, and then you stop out. Do you see it? It says go long, bedip. Now, it did. So, did it give you a short before the open? That's interesting. But it might have gotten a short if it hadn't taken this long. You know what I mean? Yes, I see those tiny dots. I know. I'm sorry. That's as tight as I can make it. See, here's the long that you just called for. So can you see where we're getting these, like, yeah. So basically what's happening is it's going like this. So like when we get our moving average, you know, it comes right and immediately comes back and gets it out. But then it's actually more like this. Right? So we get this. So we get enough of it for it to tell us to go long, and then goodish. And right. It does seem like opposite state to me. So this tries taking it like literally every trade. We just kind of change it to the set trading hours. Yeah, it's a little better, right? Does okay. Interestingly, though, look, with a stop of 8 and a reward factor of 1, so equal risk reward, low win rate. Kind of suggests, well, what do we get? Profit factor 0.29. Kind of suggests that we should be doing the opposite of what we're doing, you know? It smells like Biden's strategy. I don't know. This is the one where it's like Ace has traded it, and he's traded it pretty successfully. I don't know how he's done the most recently, but yeah, when I backtest, this doesn't look very good. It seems to me like it was something that worked really well for a time, and now it's not so much. Look at the daily candle. Well, the daily candles are like over here. Today ends up being an outside day. Remains to be seen still if it actually ends up being a down day. That makes sense why they towed my Lambo. I don't know. Do you combine Jigsaw with NinjaTrader or what? That is exactly what I do. I run it through Rhythmic Data. I run Rhythmic Data, and then from Rhythmic Trader Pro, I connect both Jigsaw and NinjaTrader into it. It says no real body of significance. How you read so much into that when the bar isn't finished? So this is another one that I find with technical analysis that I find so incredibly interesting. Is I come in here and I say, okay, when I have a bar and I want it to cross the moving average. So when I see it touch that moving average, I buy in. But then you see it touches that moving average and it immediately goes down. And so you get out, but then it goes up and it ends up closing above that line. So then you go back and you say, well, if I'm going to actually program this and you really want to do things and you don't want to like use a smaller data series underneath, then I will have to just only do it when the bar closes. So the bar will have to close above the moving average. So then you go and you do that, and it doesn't have a profitable expectancy. And you go back and you look at how the technical traders are trading it, and you realize that they don't really understand. There are so many little things on the edge that they don't even think about. You start programming it and you realize these things, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, I'm not consistent about the way that I trade this at all. And if I was, I wouldn't make money. And if I'm making money doing it now, the backtest says that I'm not going to make money forever with it, you know? But which moving it? Well, when we did our back testing, the 10-minute simple moving average was probably the best. The HMA and the super smoother. And I literally gone through. I went and did a little bit more testing after I made that video. I have literally gone through like literally every filter that you can get for NinjaTrader. Okay, like I went and I got the lizard indicators, which has like 40 filters in it. And I, because of the way that they do their Bollinger Bands and everything, I can make one where I can just have the back tester iterate through all of them. And this simple moving average was still better as a straight entry. But then I think that in the end, it just comes back to when you're only using price, seems pretty hard to develop a really consistent and good edge with only using price. It doesn't give you a complete picture of what's going on anyways. And if there was any edge in it, it looks like it's probably been arbitraged out of the market. So then I go in and I use order flow, and it seems like that there can be some edge cases that you can pick up an edge on with order flow, but like you have to dig really hard and you're not going to find something that's perfect. So then you get into news, and it seems like if you were able to incorporate news correctly into the analysis and everything, you can actually do pretty good consistently. But you have to be consistent, because I don't know how to make the robot do that. I'm not sure that the technology exists to make the robot do the kind of analysis that we can do in person, you know? That's right. When that backtesting technical, well, there was the other one, that was the simple moving average one. But anyways, if you have a technical setup that you want me to backtest, just message me on Discord. We can keep it private if you want, because I think that if it's a good edge, then we don't want to share it with the world. That's why the strategies that I'm backtesting, I give them code names so that you guys don't know how they work. And I test anything that you want. But I keep hearing lots of people claiming that they have an edge on technical analysis, unwilling to explain their edge or show past results or any of that sort. So, until tomorrow, stay profitable, friends.